I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, June the 18th, brought to you in part by Fairpiece. Recent studies have showed if Fairpiece is applied before the stress of hauling cattle to the feedlot, average daily gain can jump as much as 20 to 30%. Call it snake oil if you want. You can't afford not to try it. For more information, go to fairpiece.com. In Beaver County Stockyards, it's the Feeder Flash Beaver Clash 3. Going to have a good run. Not a lot of cattle around the country, but they're going to have 4,000 in Beaver, Oklahoma. Talked to Lane Conkle. He said this will probably be the last big one they have until cattle start coming off grass there late in the summer. But they're going to have about 500 calves, most of them weighing 400 to 600 pounds. Only about 20% of them being weaned, but the quality is going to be good. Of that 500, they've got about 150 little flyweight calves. If you guys want some of those, trying to keep the price per head down, 2 to 4 weights just split from their mothers. They've got those on hand too. And have 3,000 plus yearlings, about 1,000 head of yearling feeders weighing 6.5 to 8.5, sold mostly in load lots. Gonna have about 1,900 feeder steers, yearlings. A lot of them will be big. Most of them will be big, weighing from 900 to 10.5, maybe 25 loads of the 9 to 10.5 weights there. Maybe a few loads of some lighter steers, and then some mixed bags of yearling feeders there, and even some stockers there. But during the cow sale, they have 300 to 400 cows. About 50 2 to 6 year old pairs. They're going to sell them as pairs, and the 1% off of there is going to be some 2-year-old cows, and the calves are going to be half Wagyu. They're red and Charolais cows with half Wagyu calves. I'm going to be interested in seeing what those look like. I'm going to be on hand because it's a Feeder Flash Beaver Clash. I'll be around there visiting with everybody during the sale and before and after probably. I'll probably take a turn auctioneering for a while. I'm told that there's an ice cream stand on the premises, so we're going to eat ice cream. We're going to have a rollover benefit for some people that really need some help there locally, and we're just going to have a good time there at the sale at Beaver County Stockyards. Hopefully if you can make it over there. If you can't make it, get on DVAuction.com. You can view and bid that sale there. Prohibition of Slaughterhouses makes the Denver ballot. I haven't even mentioned this. It's a big deal, and we've seen stuff like this come out of Colorado here in recent years. I think it is just a derivative or a result of Colorado being one of the first recreational pot states. Everybody's so high on this new marijuana, and it's a hell of a lot stronger than that skunk weed, but it smells the same. If you drive through Colorado and you decide to crack your window and you pick up, you're going to fill up with it. But this whole deal, it seeks to eliminate animal slaughter in Denver, the city, or the county. Now, unfortunately, for Superior Farms lamb slaughter, they do lie within this, the county of Denver. And so they're basically wanting to shut them down. It's a bunch of doped up tree huggers and animal rights people there, just friends of John Campbell's there from Lahana, and hopefully he can get them to change their mind. But if this deal passes, the government has to compensate Superior Farms. They can't just shut them down. They're going to have to buy them out. So if the government's doing, what's that mean? That means the taxpayers have to do it. It will cost the state of Colorado about $70 million. But this group called Pro Animal Future has gotten enough signatures to get that on the ballot, and hopefully they'll get it knocked down. Hopefully there's a few people there that are straight enough, sober enough to get that knocked down. But you know, you got a big cluster of people like that. You know, they've got leftist ways. There's no telling what can happen, but we get something like that rolling, and there's no no telling how far it could go. But you know, I just wonder if all them potheads, are they vegan at 3 o'clock in the morning when they get the munchies and they pull up to the fast food drive up? I wonder if they are then. We've got to get the word out. I nominate my friend John Campbell there from La Junta to get the word out and tell it like it is. He's drug free just like me and Ralph Wade, who I stole that saying from. Just saw Ralph Wade in Oklahoma City at the LMA convention, and he's still the coolest guy in the ballroom, I guarantee you. But that is something that could really get out of hand if we don't take care of it, guys. They're wanting to just shut them down just because they don't like it. But you probably thought I was going to harp about the $10 spread between the Northern Plains fats and the Southern Plains fats. That's just something that these Southern Plains guys are going to have to deal with. Either we're not going to sell any fat cattle in a negotiated basis to report, or we are, and we're going to have to do a little better job doing it. It's not right to be sucking down on that weighted average as hard as you are when the Northern Plains guys are using the leverage that they have because they do trade cattle in a negotiated manner and a higher percentage of them. It's not fair for you to be dragging them down like that. But even on Monday, we saw a little bit of trade, actually 2 deals. It was just one load in Iowa, mixed steers and heifers sold at 192. And somebody in Oklahoma, which goes on your Texas feedlot, they decided to take a jump there, and I don't really blame them. Everybody else was selling at 186. They come in there on Monday with about 500 mixed steers and heifers, sell them on the cash market at 188. Maybe that'll set the market 188, and at least it'll be a couple bucks higher than last week. But talking about this Southern Plains, pray for Ruidoso, New Mexico, guys. I know most of us are in pretty good shape moisture-wise. That is one spot in New Mexico that they haven't had any, and Ruidoso is on fire. And that's been my playground for the last 35 years, and it is a lot of us Texans there, but got a lot of good friends that live around there. A lot of people have property around there, so pray for them. Hope they get through this. Let's talk about your board to start the week. After such a big gains on Friday, we couldn't hold the gains that we had on Friday, but we didn't take much of it off of them, so things are still pretty good. One thing that's noted, the open interest on August live cattle on Friday was one of the biggest that we've ever had, meaning a lot of interest going in there. We're hoping it's a lot of long speculators in there thinking that, gosh dang, we're really short of cattle and getting box beef up there. And this fat cattle market has nowhere to go but up, especially when the basis is as big as it is. But June live cattle up 22 cents at 187.05. Your weighted average in the 5-area feeding region was over 192.50, lagging back quite a bit there. How about August down 37 cents at 182.80? Your back months on live cattle were down 22 to up 12 cents. August feeder cattle down 65 cents, but that's not too bad. They were up 4.5 on Friday, but 261.32. September only down 12, and it was up 4.5 on Friday. But 262.57, your back months were unchanged to up 42. So actually pretty good considering how it ended last week on your feeder cattle futures. July corn was up 2 cents a bushel at 4.45 3/4. Beans were up 4 3/4 cents at 11.62.5. Kansas City hard red winter wheat down 1/4 cent a bushel at 6.05 1/4. Your weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle sales out of your 5-area feeding region. Big movement. I like to see closer to 100, but 80,900, that's as big as we've had, near as big as we've had all year, really, but close to it there. And I'll tell you once again, when you sell a lot of negotiated cattle, the market's higher. When the market's higher, you sell a lot of negotiated cattle. They go hand in hand. We don't sell near enough of them. And I know I'm fighting a losing battle here preaching this stuff, but I'm going to keep preaching it. You see, the Southern Plains has painted themselves into a corner where they can't even get nothing for the cattle and report it. They have to just get $2 over a market, but the market sucks. So when $2, $3, $4 over the market still puts you $5, $6, or $7 to a discount to the Northern Plains, it's not that good a deal. But 80,900 in your 5 area, 52,400 the previous week, 49,400 the same week a year ago. Live sales of fat steers and heifers in your 5 area feeding region sold from 184 to 198. 198 is an all-time record high. That's $1 to $5 higher. Your weighted average on live steers in the 5 area was 192.55. That's another all-time record high. That was up $3.63 compared to the previous week's weighted average. Dress sales ranged from 301 to 310. 310 is an all-time record high. That was $4 to $6.50 higher. Your weighted average on dress steers in the 5 area feeding region was 305.47. That's an all-time record high. That was up $4.76 from the previous week's dress weighted average on steers. As a whole, your market in the Northern Plains was 193 to 198 late. That was basically $5 higher. Dress market was mostly 305 to 306, with a few up to 310. That was $4 to $5 higher. Southern Plains sold the bulk of their cattle just $1 higher at 186. Yes, that is at least a $10 discount, guys. Nationwide, we sold 95,700 head negotiated all over the country. That compared to 64,100 the previous week, 61,300 the same week a year ago. Of those 95,700, about 22% were said to be for the 2 to 4 week delivery. They'll never make that. They're hand to mouth, guys. They've got to have them. And of negotiated grid sales last week, total 42,400 head. Forward contracting, which is really light when they still think the market's going to get higher. They're not trading many. 13,900. Formula sales 259,700 with no competition and no negotiation. That's dragging on the market, guys. But of your 4 out of 5 areas that we get information from, Iowa sold 30,200. That's a good movement for them. Nebraska sold 30,500. That's a little bit heavy for them. Kansas sold 14,000. Not too bad. In Texas, about 6,100, which is about typical, but still pretty light. Box beef cutout values were higher to start the week. Not a lot higher, but some higher. Choice cuts up 58 cents at 320.47. Selects up 101 at 304.82. Your slaughter for Monday was estimated at 119,000. That's 2,000 less than the previous week and 3,000 less than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. Specialty risk insurance. Remember, June is the only month you can change your LRP agent. Specialty Risk has an app that you can download on your phone with all of the pertinent information that you need for your LRPs, your futures, your strike prices, everything, what it's going to cost, right there at your fingertips. And you can use that. Specialty Risk agents are all in the cattle business and they use LRPs themselves. For more information, go to specialtyrisk.ag. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DVAuction. Late in the day on Monday, based on an 800-pound cash auction steer up through your middle 12 states, was actually a little bit lower from those big fancy sales they had on Friday and Saturday. You come into some more commodity type sales on a Monday and it pulled it back just a bit with calmer heads, but the market's still really good. But 253.97 is your real-time index. Your latest CME cash feed, and that was down 54 cents. Latest CME cash feeder cattle index 255.72. Some other sales you can look forward to here on Tuesday. Kingsville livestock auction, 3,000 head for them. They're going to have a lot of yearlings, a lot of loads of yearlings in there, and 2 different strings of 300 head weaned fall calves. Kingsville, Missouri, right there. They have recently added DVAuction.com, so you can view and bid their sale right there. And then my friends down in Alabama elite livestock sales video. The guys that used to be in the Montgomery Stockyard, man, they built a hell of a video auction there and having sales about monthly. They've got 31 loads to sell this Thursday, and that's also on DVAuction. You can go on to DVAuction, look up the elite livestock sales, and you can look preview the videos that are already on there. Talk about your big sales on Monday. Oklahoma City had another sale on Monday after the big World Champion special that they had on Saturday. And they had 4,000. Pretty good sale there, and the market was a lot more like it was Saturday than it was a week ago. It was $4 to $9 higher than a week ago, with spots as much as $15 higher. So they've marketed a lot of cattle there in just the last few days. Joplin Regional Stockyards had 6,500. Really good sale for them. Steer calves are 15 to 20 bucks higher. Feeder steers $2 to $8 higher. Heifer calves $8 to $15 higher. And feeder heifers a good strong steady there. And I will not argue with those trends at all, because Joplin is your National Beef Wire stick out sale of the day. And you look at this automated marker report and you look at the changes on the weighted average compared to last week out to the side. And I don't say that weighted averages are the best way to find a trend. I would rather compare loads of cattle. But if you look at those weighted average changes, I'll tell you what, it looks like he's right on there. But let's look at your best tested weights. How about 657 head of 5-weight steers, average 550 at 310.99 on the weighted average. 853 head of 6-weight steers, average 647 at 289.43. There were 535 head of 7-weight steers. They averaged 736 at 260.41. Almost 1,300 head of 8-weights. 1,287 head of 8-weight steers in Joplin averaged 848 with a weighted average price of $249.83. Wow. How about 476 head of 9-weight steers? They averaged 929 at 242.53. Look at your heifers. 534 head of 5-weight heifers averaged 543, weighted average price $282.12. 477 head of 6-weight heifers averaged 642 at $255.22. And there were 719 head of 7-weight heifers, Carthage, Missouri, at Joplin Regional Stockyards. Weighted average weight 751, weighted average price $239.11. Give you some individual quotes from around that I thought were impressive. How about Elgin livestock sales? Elgin, Nebraska, the Baum family there. They sold some cattle come out of a backgrounding lot. These were not green. They may not have been too fleshy. Couldn't have been, or they wouldn't have brought this. But still, backgrounded steers, 114 of them, weighed 930 at 249.25. Wow. How about Callaway Livestock Center in Kingdom City, Missouri? Brad Griffin from Carroll County Feeders had 75 steers in there, weighed 677, bring 253.75. And then the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Monday, your Macrison No BS top quote for the day, indeed come out of Joplin Regional Stockyards. It was 176 steers, weighed 919 at 252.25. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.